John, just before your football questions, here's one for Jesse from the Facebook feed. For Ray Jacobs, the former Stampeder, Rough Rider, Renegade, and BC Lion, as our director of scouting, Craig Smith, has pointed out this morning. As a player, Ray, have you ever heard someone call your team a rebuilding team? If so, what does that do to a player's mindset? Would a player find that term insulting?
Absolutely not. Because you're always rebuilding. I mean, even in the game of football, you build yourself up in the offseason to tear it down. And then you go back to the next offseason rebuilding. It's not insulting. It's all about the way you keep things in perspective. And let's just face it, if you're not one of those teams that's making it to the playoffs, and if you're not one of these teams that can make it to the Grey Cup every 1 or 2 or 3 years, then you're rebuilding.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, what's your goal?
Good answer.
What about the concussion thing now, Ray? It's come a long way. It's still pretty serious. We know a lot about it here because of Chris Caleros incident.
Zach Caleros
incident. Do you think there's progress being made since you got involved, 15 years ago?
Absolutely. Like I said, the NFL is doing a lot of testing, and they just came out with a report. And the way it is now that we have it, it's called the BAP. It's called the Baseline Assessment Program. That's what it's called. And basically what it does is I think it's a high IQ test, but it involves a lot of different things, motor functions and things like that. But what they do is they measure you, and I will get measured every year. And what determines is it's not one of those things where you got to be drilling out of your mouth or missing things. It's a baseline assessment. You're here today, you're here tomorrow, you're here the day after, and once you hit a certain point down here, then you're declared eligible. But no, it is a serious thing. I think that everyone should get tested just to see where they stand point. And then there's a flip side of that is that you just don't know. You could be tested today and not have it, and then have it later. It is a serious thing, and it's one of those things that kind of be monitored, but ultimately it's down to the player. I mean, think about over the years before the movie Concussion came out, and we even knew the statistics about it. Guys were out there, lights out, seeing stars. I was one of them. It is I guess the first thing about the whole thing is that you can't conquer what you don't know. So we do know about it. So that's the start.
I don't know. Former NFL, CFL D lineman Ray Jacobs with us. You talk about the movie Concussion. You know what? Guys bring up the movie Concussion all the time. Have you seen it, Lynch? The movie Concussion,
Yep.
Starring Will Smith?
Sure have.
If you viewers and listeners haven't seen it, you got to see it. But I walked out of the theater with my wife. I turned to her and I said, if I didn't work in football, I would hate the game of football. After watching this, did it do more harm or good to the sport of football, Jake?
I think as far as the parents and the kids, I know that a lot of parents are putting their kids into flag football, which is good because flag football it will build coordination, hand-eye, those things, strength, speed, and agility, and it's good. It's a good setup for other sports. However, for the game of football, I don't think it's going to affect it because there's too much money out there and the game is too loved.
Good. So then the game's not in trouble. I don't think it is either.
No.
Another question from the Facebook feed. What does Ray think about the hit that took Zach Caleros out? Did you see that one?
I did.
In week 1, what'd you think?
Oh, it's definitely dirty. That's all you can say about it.
What about the suspension? We're waiting to hear. They said by Saturday at the latest we should know, but he's probably going to play, Simone Lawrence. Mm-hmm. This has been a month since the hit happened, and we're still sitting here waiting. I don't get it. I'm not a very smart guy. I'm a farm kid. Not that farm kids aren't smart. I'm just not. Why does Simone Lawrence need to spend 10 hours with an arbitrator on Tuesday to explain himself? 10 minutes should have got it done. The whole process itself is whacked. I don't understand how this process works. I understand unions and stuff, and I've never been through it, so I don't really know. That's why I'm saying maybe I'm not stupid. I'm just not educated in it. But I said one game will be fine. Let him sit, and let's move on. Ray, what do you think he deserves for that as a guy that literally, well, you didn't play that position, but you know what I mean? You chased quarterbacks down.
I did. And, I was looking at it a little bit earlier today, and as a player, I know I know the adrenaline gets going. I know emotions. I know some people you want to kill everyone in sight. But at the end of the day, you got to play it safe, and you got to keep and respect the integrity of the game. I don't know his financial situation. I wish him the best. I know that it has to be looked at, and it's got to be taken care of properly just because of the name that's involved, or the names, and it's just one of those things like like Michael Vick. If you're the first to do something and you bring attention to yourself, they're gonna make it.
You going to jail?
They're going to make an example out of you.
Yeah, but 10 hours. I'm with Rod. I don't understand why would it take him 10 hours with the arbitrator. I don't get that at all. And was Collaros not there?
Well, we don't know.
No, we don't know. But I mean, he should have been.
Yeah, 10 hours is a long time to do anything. However, I think they're just playing it by the book because everybody's watching.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, which reminds me, everybody's watching what the CFL is doing with 2.0. This morning, the CFL announces a partnership with Great Britain. It's the 11th country or region partnering with the CFL for global growth of the game. Are you watching this? What is your take on what the commissioner's trying to do here?
Well, actually, I haven't been watching it. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. So, I mean, if you want to tell me a little bit about it.
Every team has one or two players from Europe or Mexico on their roster this year. This is you got to see his face. Ray's like, what?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's a partnership. Lynch, do you want to take it from here? Like it's a partnership with European countries and Mexico
That's right. And
to
there's
grow
one or
the
two
game?
on each team. Each team has one or two, maybe three of these people on their roster right now, dressed for each game and see some action. They're supposed to see more action, of course. It's hard to force.
But they're not good enough.
They're not good enough. Strange concept. I wish the commissioner would straighten out Toronto and Montreal and Vancouver and get to Halifax in the league. I don't know why he's over on the other side of the country, of the world, signing up these players and that. But what do you think of that? Did you ever have guys from Mexico and Europe playing?
Of course he didn't.
I've actually, the only player that I've heard from Mexico that was actually good and played was like the kicker in the NFL.
Right. There's like 22. I looked this up when this whole thing came up last winter that they were going to do it. There were 22 players from Mexico that had played in the NFL, and 17 were kickers.
But if you look at it from the business standpoint of view, and let's just face it, when you deal with big firms, you deal with corporates and organizations, we don't know behind the scenes what's really going on. However, I can see where he would probably, because of Canada and having so much of ethnicity, diversification, I could see where he would probably want to bring in, support all races in the game of football.
I'm with it. I'm struggling with it, as are you, I think, Lynch.
Yeah.
I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to expand beyond our border because there's only so many tickets to sell, within our border. We're shrinking. Let's go worldwide here. But cramming players down our throat is challenging the integrity of the game. That's what I think. Yeah. But you got to start somewhere. Jake, what do you got? One last word for our viewers, listeners, a message to them or how you're doing, an update. The floor is yours.
You kind of put me on the
Anything
spot
they
there.
should know about you? What's up? Are they going to be seeing you?
Yeah, I mean, I must say, just because of the things that I've been through in life and some highly publicized and some things not publicized, I think that I feel like everything that I've been through, I think that all the good, all the bad, I think that is all going to come in fruition and bring me to a point where
you can help others.
Where I shine.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's good for you to have me up here. A lot of people probably want to know where the players are doing, but as far as Mr. Jacobs, well, I'm looking forward to great things in the future, and they should too.
Good. Jack Fulton's watching this morning from Calgary. He says to say hi. He's been doing a lot of great work with the Stampeders over the years.
I love Jack. Jack's a good friend of mine. I talk to him a lot.
Right. So hi to us, to you from us, Jack Fulton. I appreciate it. Ray Jacobs, you're going to be hearing his name a lot.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.